which is going to be critical for you to know as you supervise and manage. So let's get started. Motivation and work behavior. We are going to concentrate today on need-based theories and cognitive theories. But first, before we get started, there's a couple things to learn about motivation. Motivation has a platform of 3 dimensions. And the dimensions are inputs. Inputs are what I bring to the job. They come with me. They can be my effort. We have a software update. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, inputs, what I bring with me to the job. My time, my effort, my education, my experience, my knowledge, my skill set, they come with me. Performance is my effectiveness, my efficiency, my customer service at work. And outcomes are what I receive from the job. Pay, number 1, right? How much money I make, what kind of security my job has, what kind of vacation benefits, bonuses, God bless you. Okay, so as we work through the chapter, let's keep in mind inputs, performance, and outcomes. Now, need-based theories. Remember in week 1, we covered the difference between a hypothesis, a theory, and a law. A hypothesis, we discussed, is an educated guess. It's a good guess. It's a guess based on observation, based on experience, but it's a guess. Once that hypothesis is proven true, at some point, at some time, it becomes a theory. However, a theory is at one point at one time and does not rise to the level of law, say like the law of gravity. Where you drop the apple will fall. With theory, it's not going to work, OB theory is not going to work the same with everyone. Okay? So your employees are going to be individuals. They're going to be unique. They're going to have different things going on in their lives. So what works with one person may not work with the next person. What worked with one person today may not work the same tomorrow with that person. Okay? So I want you to just keep this in mind as we work through theory. Now, what's the difference between need-based and cognitive theory? Need-based stems from a need. I'm hungry. So what am I motivated to do? Yeah, eat. Eat. Microwave the pizza, right? I'm motivated, right? I'm cold. What am I motivated to do? Yeah, absolutely. The blanket, right, right. So it stems from a need. Cognitive is a process. It's a thought process, okay? So we're going to cover need-based first. So first we're going to go through Maslow. How many of you guys are already familiar with Maslow? Yeah, you're familiar with Maslow. So we're going to just lightly cover it, okay? But Maslow has a hierarchy of needs. And he said that a lower order need must be satisfied before you progress to a higher order need. When we go to the schools and teach at-risk kids, where do you think they are? Physiological, security, belongingness, esteem, self-actualization. Where do you think they are? Yeah. Security, maybe belongingness, right? Depending on their situation. They want to be safe. They want to have security. They want to belong. Sometimes they want to belong the wrong way. Gets them into trouble. They want to belong. Where do you think you guys are? You, right? Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So the first theory we're going to cover is Adolfer, E-R-G. And he is based off of Maslow. All the theories we're going to cover, remember we said OB has a lot of psychology, sociology, anthropology in it. So all of these are going to be work-based theories. Okay? Maslow, and he kind of adopted. He said his theory is commonly known as the ERG theory because it's existence, relatedness, and growth. What do you think existence looks like at the workplace? Yeah, where do you sit? How much you earn? What's your title? How do you check in? How do you check out? What are the basics of the job? What do you get paid? What do you have to do? What are you responsible for? Relatedness at work. What do you think relatedness at work is? Yeah, absolutely. Relationships with others. Once you know what your job is, and you know where to check in, where to sit, you want to get to know people. Absolutely. You may volunteer for a committee. Maybe you want to be on the suggestion committee. Or you just want to get to know people at work. And then growth. Growth at work. Promotion. Recognition. Reward. Adolfer is a little different than Maslow. Because Adolfer said you can go up and down. Okay? So, where's a situation where I might go up and I might come down? Let's say that I work for the company of Stevens. Okay? And the company of Stevens hires me. And I'm a bright APU student. So I'm industrious. It doesn't take me long to have existence down. I'm doing my job. Stevens loves me. Okay? Then I get to know everybody, and I get along fairly well. I do my job well. I get along well, so I go for growth. But I'm going for growth, and I realize that everybody that's a manager or a vice president is a Stevens. And I'm not a Stevens. We have son of Stevens, wife of Stevens, daughter, niece, nephew of Stevens, cousins of Stevens, but I'm not a Stevens, and I realize I'm never going to promote. Do I keep trying, or do I go back to relatedness? Do I keep trying, or do I go back to existence? Yeah, I could go all the way to existence. Exactly, exactly. So let's say I decide, well, Stevens is never going to promote me, because I'm not a Stevens. And so I started having long lunches, and I'm not going to promote, so I'm going to get along. And then one of the Stevens comes and talks to me and says, we've noticed your long lunches. I'm going to go all the way back to existence and say, okay, I better buckle down. I want to keep my job. Okay? Oh, Hertzberg. Okay, this is my favorite theory. And it's very, very, very misunderstood. And to me, it's the most powerful of all theories. It's misunderstood because there's a lot of pop books written on 1,001 ways to motivate employees. And there are 1,001 ways to motivate employees. But Hertzberg says you cannot motivate a dissatisfied employee. And so those books on giving out parking space or a candy bar don't really understand theories of motivation. How many would be motivated by a candy bar? Nobody here? I might be if it's a really good candy bar. How many would be motivated by a parking spot? Yeah. Yeah, of course. In APU, that would be highly motivating for me. I know. Or if it's a parking lot. So, but if I'm dissatisfied at work, then Hertzberg says, you cannot motivate me with those things. Hertzberg did a huge study and found that motivation is actually two continuums. So this is very, very interesting because he was the first one to really understand this, and it really was based on the size of his study. But until Hertzberg, people thought of motivation as one continuum. You were either not motivated or you were motivated to some degree until you got to uber motivated. But Hertzberg said, but that's not really true. So he said his theory is known as the two-factor theory or the dual-factor theory. He said there are a set of what he called hygiene factors, which are basic to the job. And he said dissatisfaction had to be eliminated before you could go for the second set of factors, which are motivational factors. So the first level is hygiene factors. And you had to eliminate dissatisfaction. So let me give you an example. Hygiene factors, working conditions, supervisor quality. Isn't the supervisor the one that determines really pretty much whether you like your job or not? Yeah, they are. They're the biggest influence. Policies and procedures, pay. So let's say I come into work and the lunchroom has water on the floor, the refrigerator doesn't work, the microwave doesn't work, there's one chair that really has 4 legs on it, we all fight for the one chair. Are you unhappy with the condition of the lunchroom? Yes, absolutely, agreed, thank you, yes, very dissatisfied. But let's say the boss comes in and cleans up the lunchroom and puts in a refrigerator that works and a microwave that works, gets rid of the water, gets rid of the bugs. Do you come in and say, I'm so motivated I'm going to work extra hard today? No, because it's an expectation. You expect to be treated fairly and properly at work. Okay? So Hertzberg said, unless those hygiene conditions have eliminated dissatisfaction, you cannot motivate an employee. So let me give you one more example. I'm a high-rise iron worker, okay? And I'm welding on, I don't know, the 25th floor. I'm up there welding, right? And my safety harness is not a good safety harness. Whoop. But you come and you give me a certificate that says, oh, we're so proud of you. You have been accident-free all year. I have 5 kids at home. And I am a little miffed that my safety harness is old. So, are you going to motivate me with a certificate? No. I might take that certificate and throw it right back at y'all. So Hertzberg said, you cannot motivate an employee unless they are satisfied with their supervisor quality, their working conditions, their pay. Okay? Ooh. Thank you. So does that make sense? So that's why these pop books, 1001 Ways to Motivate Employees, if you're dissatisfied at work, a candy bar certificate isn't going to do it. If you're satisfied at work, then yes, those things will motivate you. You guys like Hertzberg? Yeah. Yeah, thanks. He's my favorite. Because it rings true to me. I can fit myself in his theory. Okay. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Okay? This is one of the most complicated ones. People sometimes don't get Hertzberg. To me, it's logical. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's look at another one. McClellan. McClellan is based way back off of Plato. Except McClellan said most people are motivated by 3 things. They're motivated by achievement at work, the need to achieve. They're motivated by affiliation, Plato called it love. We don't call it love at work. We call it affiliation. Is the desire to get along. What Justice said, you know, get along, make friends, be liked, and the need for power. Now, what's important about McClellan is people aren't motivated by just one need. You're not motivated only by achievement or only by affiliation or only by power. How many people are motivated by achievement? Or motivated to achieve? Yeah, perfect. I am too. But what's your second need? I also have affiliation. I want to succeed, but I want everybody on the team to succeed. Now, if I have power, do you think I might have affiliation? Maybe not, right? Okay, so McClellan said that every individual at work has a combination of these three motivators. Kind of simplistic, right? But it's a good lens. Cognitive theory. We're going to springboard into cognitive theory. Remember, I mentioned need-based stems from a need. Cognitive is a thought process. Because it's a thought process, what's really important to remember about cognitive, it's about perception. Okay? So, when I'm the one in the situation, it's what I perceive. Okay? So, before we get into the cognitive theories, if you're my boss and you tell me that it's fair, but I don't perceive it to be fair, is it fair or not fair?
Based on your perception.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it could be fair to the supervisor, unfair to me, but if I think it's unfair, right? You could talk to me, try to convince me otherwise, but it's based on my perception. So keep that in mind as we work through the cognitive theories. Yeah, perception process for equity theory is a 4-step process. We just talked about. It's all about perception. Individuals evaluate how they're being treated by the organization. They evaluate a comparison other, and we're going to talk about what that is. And they compare their circumstance with the circumstance of the comparison other, and then they decide whether they're being treated fairly or not and what they're going to do about it. A comparison other is someone that you feel is an equal comparable. They're similar to you. Okay? So the theory of equity hinges all on whether the person perceives they're being treated fairly or not. So let's look at what that looks like. Okay. I want to draw a little bit more. Okay, equity theory looks at inputs and outcomes. Remember we talked about inputs and outcomes, what I bring and what I take away? As compared to the inputs and outcomes of the comparable other. So, what does that mean? That means that I find someone that I believe is similar to me in the workplace, and I look at what I bring to work, what they bring to work, what I get out of it, and what they get out of it. And based on that, I decide if I feel I'm being treated fairly or not. So let's do an exercise. Who do you think, knowing the professor's on the floor, who do you think would be my comparable other? Uh-huh. Oh, yes! Dr. Kipling, you are dead on, Brandon. Why Dr. Kipling? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are very similar, you're right. And he is a great professor. Thank you. Well, sometimes when I ask, who is my comparable other, people will give me a female professor because I'm female. Yeah. They'll say, is it Underwood? Is it Bohopian? Is it... This is not about gender. Come on, people, we've come a long way, baby. This is not about gender. This is about work. Remember, we're talking about how individuals feel at work, okay? So, Kipley, you're right, Brandon, 100% right. It's Kipley's my comparable other. So this is me, and this is Kip. Okay? So, inputs, what am I going to look at? I'm going to look at my education, right? Right? We both have a DBA. And we actually have the same DBA. We have a DBA in strategic management. So we have exactly identical degrees. I'm going to look at my experience. I bring a lot of corporate with me. So does he. I'm going to look at publication rates. We're very competitive. We publish together, we publish apart. We're always seeing who's on top. But we're both, it's either him or I. Sometimes Stu will get in there, but it's usually Kip and I, number one and number two. We're really competitive upstairs. So, teaching style. We're both very animated in the classroom, right? So we're kind of identical with inputs, right? So then I would look at what I get out of the job as compared to what Dr. Kipley gets out of the job. Okay? Do we have the same size office? Yeah, we do. All the offices do the same, right? Yeah, we do. Do we have the same pay? We do. Do we have the same vacation? We do. So, based on my comparable other, and based on my review of inputs and outputs, I make a decision on if I'm being treated fairly or not. Do I feel I'm treated fairly? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm motivated. I'm actually very motivated. I love my job. Okay? So if I decide I'm being treated fairly, I'm motivated to keep doing what I'm doing. If I decide, after I go through that process, that because remember, it's about perception, it's about what I perceive. If I perceive I'm treated unfairly, then I'm going to look for a way to reduce the inequity. And there are 6 ways to do that. I can change my inputs. I can change my outcomes. I can alter perception of self. I can alter perception of other, which in this case would be Dr. Kipley. I can change the comparisons. I can leave the situation. What do you think is the most common thing if people perceive inequity that they do? Yeah, they leave the situation. And before they leave the situation, usually they change their inputs. And why do you believe it's that? Negatively, yes, Justice. Good insight. Good insight. Yeah. Yeah. Because my inputs are something that I have complete control of. And I can slow my work down, right? I can decide tomorrow I'm not going to publish anymore. Right? That's... I shouldn't say that on mic. No, but that's something I have complete control over, right? And a lot of people do that before they leave. They change their inputs, they slow down on their productivity, and they start looking for a job while they work, right? Don't we know that people do that? They look for a job while they're on work. Yeah, it's real life, right? It's real life. So, when an individual feels inequity, they will look for ways to reduce that, okay? And this is how they look for ways to reduce that. Okay, I think we have one more theory. Can you guys do one more? Okay, thank you. Ah, expectancy theory, Victor Vroom. Okay, expectancy theory has 3 components to it. And pretty much it says that these 3 conditions have to be met in order for you to motivate an employee. Okay? There has to be expectancy. I have to expect, if I'm the employee, that my effort will lead to successful performance. That it's something that I can do. Then I have to believe that there's instrumentality. That if I am successful at the performance, that I will achieve the desired outcome. Okay? And lastly, for balance, you can substitute value. If my effort leads to successful outcome, I have to value the outcome. I like to play tennis. Okay? So, if there's a contest at work, and the prize is a beautiful German engineered sewing machine, do you think it's going to motivate me? Right, exactly, exactly. Wonderful answer. Yeah, if I like to sew, it's going to motivate me, right? But for me, what if I rather play tennis than sew? It's not going to motivate me, right? Exactly, exactly. So, balance is value. I have to value the reward. Effort and instrumentality. I just shared with you guys I like to play tennis, right? Okay, so I'm a tad older than you guys, like a couple of years. We'll go with that. Oh, thank you. Very kind. And I have a bad knee. Okay? And I love to watch the tennis team, because when I watch the tennis team, they throw the ball in the air, and then they fly through the air to hit the ball. You guys ever watch the tennis team? Yeah. Yeah, okay. When I serve, I throw the ball in the air. I wait for it all come all the way back down. Then I hit. There is no flying, not even an inch. I get nowhere. Okay, so what if somebody told me, you know, we know you love to play tennis. We're going to help you work out 8 hours a day, and you're going to be on the U.S. Open. Yeah, not going to happen, right? Not going to happen. I'm even not that delusional. Not going to happen. Okay, so I don't believe my effort is going to lead to a successful outcome. I don't believe I'm going to be on the U.S. Open. I might get tickets to go in and watch it. That's the only way I'm going to be there. Right? So, you have to have an employee that believes that they can perform at a level high enough to reach the outcome, and then they will receive the outcome, and they value the outcome. Sometimes companies get in trouble, and supervisors get in trouble with this theory. Because if you have an employee that performs really well, has a lot of effort, and you keep telling them, there's going to be an outcome, there's going to be an outcome, you do this, next time we'll reward you, you do this, next time maybe there's a promotion, you do this, I'll recommend you, and nothing materializes, you can have an employee that has the effort, but doesn't believe there's going to be an outcome. Questions? No, we're good? Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much. I think we're good.